Will England win the World Cup?
The World Cup or a World Cup?
The
Another
World
one.
Cup, the Qatar 2022.
I'm going to go with yes. I think our players are better than they were at the Euros. I'm going to give it to us. I think we can do it. All right, you lot, I'm Jermaine Jenas, and I'm about to answer some questions from the SPORTbible audience. So let's have it.
Based on their ability now, pick a five-a-side team from pundits you've worked with.
Five-a-side game, you've just got to be all ex-pundits. Who do you want in your team?
Right now.
Right now.
I have Rio at the back. Have you seen the size of Rio? Rio's fitter now than when he was playing. Yeah. He's a monster. So I'd probably go with Rio at the back. Shay Given, he's a mate of mine and he's got a massive blockhead, so nothing's going in with Seamus. Shay in goal, Rio at the back. Couple in midfield, Scholesy. All day long. This guy's still a wizard, still can knock it around. I'll go midfield with him actually. I can still run around and do a bit. Up top, I think Crouchy. I don't think Crouchy needed to retire. You know, during my whole time playing with Crouchy, he didn't even get one massage, no treatment, just turn up and play. I think he could still play. He could still do a job, Crouchy. So I'm going to go with Crouchy up top. Put Joe Cole on the bench because I think between me and him, we're going to need to flip-flop. And Joey still plays as well. Yeah. Like, he's a Sunday League player, I think. So yeah, get Joey in there.
Who are the best players you played with at Newcastle, Spurs, and England?
Oh, wow. I caught Shearer at the back end of his career, and he was still a joke. The level of finishing was just beyond anything I'd seen. Centre-halves didn't like playing against him. He was physical. We used to hurt them, and he used to like give them a nightmare. And referees used to bow to him. That's a fact. I played in games where I watched referees melt the minute Shearer shouted at them, and I just used to think, thank God he's on my team.
And then Spurs?
I always say Luka Modric. Bale did some scary things. Ledley was a way better footballer than I expected him to be. But Luka Modric was beyond anything I think I'd seen during my time at Spurs.
Who was the best player you played with in England?
Gerrard.
Gerrard.
Yeah.
Well, higher than Scholes, Lampard, the age old.
Scholesy was only there for a little while. Yeah. I went through the phase with Scholesy when he was getting pushed out onto the left wing a bit. In training, it was like outrageous, like scary stuff. He was just a brilliant footballer. Gerrard was just different, very different. He was just like, no, I'm going to be the best player every single day. He'd made you realise that he was kind of like a better player, and he did that to most people, to be honest with you.
Will England win the World Cup?
The World Cup or a World Cup?
The
Another
World
one.
Cup, the Qatar 2022.
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay.
I'm going to go with yes. I think our players are better than they were at the Euros. Yeah. I'm going to give it to us. I think we can do it.
Was it a hard time when you left Spurs?
It was a hard time, yeah. For many reasons, it was a hard time. The way that it was done wasn't pretty. My issue was with kind of like Andre Villas-Boas at the time. I'd just come back from rupturing my Achilles, and at Spurs they got fingerprint ID everywhere, and I put my thumb on the thing, it just went red, just went eh. And I'm like, looking at reception, and they're like got their heads down, like writing in papers. I was like, okay, I'll try again. Put it on, just went red. So I just jumped over the barrier, and then like Ledley and I think Brad Friedel at the time came and spoke to him and was like, look Jay, we've spoke to the gaffer, and I don't know why he's done this, but he's kicked you out of the dressing room, and you've got to go and get changed with the kids. We've been arguing for like a few days that you're not a bad one in the dressing room, I don't know why he's done this, blah, blah, blah. You know, considering I'd spent like 7 or 8 years at the football club, for it to end in that way wasn't nice at all.
Did Villas-Boas ever give you an explanation?
No.
Have you seen him since?
No.
No.
No, I haven't. No, I've got no interest in seeing him really, to be honest with you. We didn't see eye to eye, put it that way.
Who is your favourite current Premier League player to watch?
Bernardo Silva. Him or Phil Foden are my 2 favourite kind of players to watch. They play the game at a different level, different speed. Their intelligence is far beyond anything I see out there, to be honest with you.
Who do you think is the best under-21 player in the Premier League right now?
My favourite youngster that I watch right now is Jacob Ramsey, who plays for Villa. I love this kid so much. He's got this flow to his game that when he takes the ball on his back foot, he glides by people. That's what Zidane used to do. But then when he's got that driving mentality, that's what Yaya Toure used to do. He's composed in deep areas on the ball. He can nick a goal. He's got all these different like facets of different players that I look at in his game at a very young age and think, I'm not seeing much wrong with this player. He's my tip for the player that will make it into Gareth Southgate's squad for the World Cup.
Who was the best manager you played under and why?
Bobby Robson was probably the best manager I played under. You know, he was literally like a father figure to me at the time. You know, I was 18 years old. in Newcastle, complete culture change for me. He just looked after me. Bobby wasn't the most when it came to tactical things. I don't remember him obsessively being thinking. He cared about the fans and the performance and the work rate that you put in, and he was quite happy to expose it if you didn't. And I think you wanted to please him. You wanted to be always on his good side, and I think that is what I always loved about him.
Who would you say are the top 6 now? If Leicester are in there, who's dropped out?
Well, Liverpool are in there, United are in there, City are in there, Chelsea are in there, Tottenham and Leicester in the last few years, I would say. Arsenal fans will probably come up with some stat now that, because they think I hate them anyway. It's like they drain me.